Hola, my name is Norma Ramirez.
My name's Elijah Olivas.
My name is Amanda, and I grew up in a Christian household. I wasn't really connected to anything, and so church was kind of like, it was a chore I had to do because, my mom made me. Like I would hear these stories and I would be like, okay, so he's like a magical guy. Kind of remember myself thinking like, am I supposed to believe this?
I remember the night where my parents, they called us in the room and they said that they're splitting up and they're getting divorced. And being the oldest brother, having to step up and being able to be that leader, I thought it was my fault, especially as the older sibling. I blamed a lot on myself, like if I could have helped out with, my siblings or like just helped out in general, maybe this would have happened.
I was going through a lot of problems. I was extremely depressed. I was in darkness most of the time. And to handle all that, I would turn to alcohol. I wasn't acknowledging my emotions, and I became extremely angry and violent towards everybody around me. I kept getting in trouble with the law. I spent a lot of time in jail over and over again, and I was affecting my children. I could see that they were afraid. They didn't want to really talk to me that much. It'd stay away. Friends would stay away from me. I wasn't able to keep a job because of my anger.
When I got older, I got into drugs. I was looking for something. I was looking for like a feeling, or I wanted to be something. I don't know, something was missing. I had a pretty serious addiction. At some point in my mid-20s, I ended up in a situation which was pretty abusive. It was very exploitative. It was controlling. And I was stuck there for 10 years. I was miserable, but I didn't know I deserved better. I just kind of thought that that's all that I was good for. At that point, I had become a mother. That slowly started me to get out of that situation. And I just kind of floundered along for a while. I was, still dealing with my addiction. Never felt like I could ever live up to my potential.
Going into middle school, it was a smooth transition, but eventually I started getting bullied a lot because one of them is because of my skin color. I was racially profiled a lot by my teachers. Freshman year was pretty tough as well. That was when I came across pornography, and it was something I struggled with for years. Sometimes I would, lose faith, and then gain faith and then lose faith. It was like a roller coaster, honestly. I always felt like he was disappointed in me and didn't want anything to do with me.
I just broke down and said, why am I doing this? This is not helping. And that's when I cried and prayed. I remember being very drunk and praying, please help me stop doing this. I had nowhere else to turn. I had to reach the end of myself, a breaking point where I finally had to get on my knees and cry and ask for help. And it wasn't help from some other human being. It had to be from God. After that, I reached out. I had tried actually several programs. I got rejected from 5 different programs, whether it was health, whether it was because of my background check, whatever. They always had some excuse for not accepting me. And I was finding, I was ready to give up, honestly. I was like, all right, I'll just go to jail and just deal with what I got to deal with. And I looked at the very bottom of the page was Treasure House of Hope. And I came in, which was very hard. I felt like I was in mud up to my knees. But it was the best decision I ever made.
It hit for me as like this is not working for me. Like it's making me feel empty inside. It's not feeling any void in my soul. I hated the way I felt after. And if I keep this going, it's gonna eat me, consume me. That's when I realized God is, God's real and He has a plan for me.
At one point, my addiction spiraled out of control and I lost custody of my son, and I had to get help. And then I started really getting clean and then exploring my spirituality and, what I believed was out there in the world. And Jesus kept calling to me and I realized it felt like home. I never knew that what I was looking for the whole time I was out there living a crazy life was what I had when I was growing up, and I just didn't even know it.
I think I've always looked for him. I've always searched for him. I always knew he was there. But when I came to Treasure House of Hope, it was kind of like a slap to the face. Like, hey, I'm actually right here next to you. I've always been. I felt like I've been blindfolded this whole time. I felt like I was asleep in the dark, and it was right there in my face, and I was just unwilling to see it. But I was happy to wake up and to finally recognize that he was there. He's always been there. I was just unwilling to see it.
That's the best part. Since accepting God and Christ into my life is, when my life really took off. Before, I never felt like I could, achieve my potential. I never had a direction in my life, and I didn't have the confidence of God's love behind me. And with those things in place, everything just started to fall together. Got job after job that allowed me to help people and do, really meaningful things. I found real friends for the first time in my life. I found self-worth. And I realized that I was, searching for those feelings in all the wrong places, and all I was doing was driving myself further and further away. I never really knew that the love of Christ is what I was missing.
Oh, I get a smile on my face immediately as soon as I think about it, because I feel so much more peaceful. I feel this weight, tremendous weight lifted off my shoulders, off my chest. I feel full of joy. I feel like I can handle anything that comes my way. I know life is not easy, but I got it. I feel so happy. Hey, you know what? Bring it. I'm like, bring it. I got God on my side this time.
Honestly, it's been amazing. Yes, there's been, challenges and struggles still, but there's been so many blessings in my life. The Bible says, come as you are. He's not going to be disappointed in me. He's always going to love me. He's always going to accept me with open arms. It's just up to me to be able to go to him. And that's how God's love
Changes everything.
God's love changes everything.